it off. That's what I would say. It's hard for young people now because they're hooked. They're addicted. If you don't think you're addicted, and I'm talking about anyone, from the highest to the lowest, if you don't think you're addicted, then see if you can turn it off for a week. It got quiet in here, didn't it? Didn't it get real quiet? It's a tool, so we should use it. God has blessed us with free will. Now it's free will magnified, free will on steroids. You're free to go in any direction you want. It will allow you, and it's not the enemy. It's just a reflection of our own free will. You know? And we all want to be liked, but now we want to be liked by 16 million. And will now some of us do anything to be liked? We used to do anything to be liked, but it was by the person in front of you. Now it's to be liked by 16 million people that you don't know. We have to ask ourselves, what is the long-term, if not the short-term effect of too much information?
But now, former Facebook president Sean Parker is sounding the alarm about the potentially addictive nature of social media.
Like, what is that doing to people's brain?
Speaking at an Axios event Wednesday, Parker, who worked with Mark Zuckerberg to develop Facebook, with a bombshell claim, saying the site was intentionally built to hook you.
That thought process was all about how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. It's a social validation feedback loop because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology.
The 38-year-old mogul admits he, along with other pioneers of social media, knew what they were doing.
We understood this consciously, and we did it anyway.
Facebook estimates its more than 2 billion users spend about 50 minutes per day on its apps, including Instagram and Messenger.
It literally changes your relationship with society, with each other.
While the medical community has yet to classify social media as addictive like alcohol or gambling, one recent study found that participants who appeared to use social media most compulsively showed changes in the part of the brain that controls impulse.
It's much more helpful to say, look, we're very vulnerable to this. It acts on us in many ways, in the ways addictive substances will.
As for Parker, he now calls himself a conscientious objector to the site he helped create.
Will you post on Facebook again?
Of course. No, I post on Facebook all the time. I post on, I use these platforms. I just don't let these platforms use me.
New fallout from that Facebook privacy scandal. The company now says 87 million people may have had their information accessed, which is far more than previously thought. CEO Mark Zuckerberg, he's preparing to testify before Congress, and Rebecca Jarvis is here with more on that. Good morning, Rebecca.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, that's roughly 1 in 3 U.S. Facebook users who may have had their information improperly shared with Cambridge Analytica. The announcement coming amid several new changes at the social network meant to better protect user privacy.
This morning, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg taking personal responsibility for the social network's failure to better safeguard users' privacy.
We didn't take a broad enough view of what our responsibility is, and that was a huge mistake. It was my mistake.
Revealing that up to 87 million people, mostly in the U.S., may have had their information improperly shared with political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica. Far more than the 50 million initially suspected. The Facebook CEO and founder in a call with reporters admitting it will take time to fix the platform.
I wish that I could snap my fingers and, in 3 months or 6 months have solved all of these issues.
What kind of data is Facebook collecting on its users?
Facebook is not only tracking your behavior on the app itself, but it's also tracking you around the web using a series of web trackers. It's aware of more than just what you're doing on Facebook itself.
So what does Facebook know about you? On Facebook, go to your settings, tap ads, then click your information, then your categories. We showed these Facebook users who say they only filled out basic details, what's up for grabs on their own profiles.
The fact that they know that I'm in libraries, the fact that they know that I use an iPhone 7, the fact that I have liberal politics.
I'm away from my family and away from my hometown. But it's weird to see that Facebook knows that.
If you're sitting at dinner with your friends and you're texting somebody who's not there, that's a problem. That's an addiction. If you're sitting in a meeting with people you're supposed to be listening to and speaking, and you put your phone on the table, face up or face down, I don't care, that sends a subconscious message to the room that you're just not that important to me right now, right? That's what happens. And the fact that you cannot put it away is because you are addicted, right? If you wake up and you check your phone before you say good morning to your girlfriend, boyfriend, or spouse, you have an addiction. And like all addiction, in time, it'll destroy relationships, it'll cost time, and it'll cost money, and it'll make your life worse.
I think we all knew in the back of our minds, even though we feigned this whole line of like, there probably aren't any really bad unintended consequences. I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. But I think the way we defined it was not like this. It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. And I would encourage all of you, as the future leaders of the world, to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. And I don't have a good solution. You know, my solution is I just don't use these tools anymore. I haven't for years. It's created huge tension with my friends, huge tensions in my social circles. If you look at my Facebook feed, I've posted maybe 2 times in 7 years, 3 times, 5 times. It's less than 10. And it's weird. I guess I kind of just innately didn't want to get programmed, and so I just tuned it out. But I didn't confront it. And now to see what's happening, it really bums me out. But everybody else has to soul search a little bit more about what you're willing to do, because your behaviors, you don't realize it, but you are being programmed. It was unintentional, but now you got to decide how much you're willing to give up, how much of your intellectual independence. And don't think, oh yeah, not me, I'm fucking genius, I'm at Stanford. You're probably the most likely to fucking fall for it.